How's it going, guys? I wanted to make a quick video showing on MyFitnessPal how you can kind of pre-track a meal, especially like a meal eaten out, and how much easier that can make your entire day as far as making sure you can stick to your macros. Okay, so the first thing we're going to look at right now is this little infographic I posted maybe a week or so ago on Instagram and all the Meyer Brain stuff. So we're going to use option 3 here as far as eating out and tracking, and also maybe use option 1 at the very end, right? So again, the whole entire goal of this is it's very difficult to obviously eat out and have very dense, right? Like these options here, a very high amount of fat, very high amount of carbohydrate in these meals. Even when we make like pretty good decisions, right? When you go and eat out, it's going to be pretty high fat, pretty high carb. It's hard to do this and do it without intent and pre-preparation and still hit your macronutrients, especially if you're in like a maintenance phase or a fat loss phase. This could be a huge chunk of your overall intake. So it's really important to pre-track this, especially for new people. Okay, so the first thing we're looking at, obviously I'm a male, so I'm going to use this 30 grams of fat, 90 gram of carb, and 25 grams of protein as my estimated portion, right? So if I'm going to a local place, I don't really want to track it and track, 4 ounces of fajita meat and half an ounce of rice and all of that stuff. I can still get pretty close and with those kind of overall meals. Okay, so sorry, I need to know the time over here. So all I'm going to do is go into MyFitnessPal. Obviously, I recommend doing this on your phone because it'd be a lot quicker. But obviously, I can't do a screenshot from my phone. So all I would do is go into my dinner. Then we're going to specifically add just the fat, carbohydrate, and protein. So I'm going to have to search all 3 of these most likely, unless they're in my frequent. Nope. So I'm going to have to search fat gram. Again, on your phone, this will all be like really succinct. If you're used to tracking it there, you can just go bam, bam, bam. But fat gram, choose this one, 25 servings. Oh, sorry, 30 because I'm a male. Add that. Also do the same for carbohydrate and protein. I think I saw carbs on here, right? So 1 gram of carbs, go 90. The multi-add on the phone, like I said, is much faster. Protein gram. We're doing 25 here. So again, all I'm doing, pre-tracking, and you'll see why this is helpful. So again, let's say it's like Saturday morning. I know I'm going to go eat out with my friends Saturday night. I'm going to plug in 30 grams of fat, 90 carb, 25 grams of protein. That's what I'm allocating out for that meal, okay? So I go down here to my overall goals, and I see that, okay, I have 50 grams of fat left, 290 carb left, 165 protein left. So again, even before I start my day, I realize that, okay, I have to have a pretty low fat, high carb, very high protein rest of my meals in order to make this overall fit, right? So maybe my typical breakfast, let's say, is like 3 eggs, 3 pieces of bacon, and a bagel. I know that's probably not going to fit too well. So maybe I go to my breakfast here, and let's see, I'm going to still have the bagel as an option. So you see kind of that is my typical breakfast. Say a bagel, 3 pieces of bacon, three eggs. But since I know my fat's already pretty high, what I'm going to do is only do, say, 2 eggs and 2 pieces of bacon. Track that really quick. Obviously, the fat's going to be a little bit lower now, only 16 grams. But then, since I kind of took out some of the protein, I'm going to just search egg white. And then now let's do, again, the green check mark's always a little bit better. Let's do 2 egg whites at breakfast. Okay, so now I have a little bit higher protein intake here. So again, now I made the necessary adjustment that I needed to do because I know that this is going to be a very high fat meal. I don't have a ton of fat to play with for my other meals. So now I'm doing only 16 grams as opposed to maybe it was 20 or 25 grams typically. So I see, okay, I still am on pace for my overall day. But again, I still need to have a pretty dang low fat lunch and high carb and high protein lunch to stay on track. So again, if I didn't do this, right, if I wasn't aware of where these numbers are going to be at, most likely I would just eat up until dinner, and then maybe I'm like at 67 grams of fat here, and I'm like, oh crap, I'm gonna be over. I guess I'm just gonna eat whatever I want, right? So by being proactive and pre-tracking this meal, you really help yourself out. Okay, so it's as simple as that. Just pre-track. If you want to use this option 3, just pre-track these macros, search them in, and then eat your day around that. You're gonna have to most likely have it be lower in fat and a little bit lower in carbohydrate than it typically is, and then probably higher in protein than it typically is, because you're not going to be having a ton of protein, especially not a lot of lean protein at this dinner meal. Okay, let's quickly go through maybe option number 1 as well. So even if I knew the overall meal, this would still work. I have to go back and delete each one of these individually, so this might take a second. But again, say if I even know that I'm going to have let's say something like Chick-fil-A for dinner that day, this would be doing option 1. I know I'm going to have Chick-fil-A. I look up nutrition facts beforehand. I'm going to make a plan around my day to make sure that it fits. Okay, so let's go to dinner. I already did this before. So again, let's say I'm going to have the Chick-fil-A deluxe chicken sandwich, which is like their normal chicken sandwich with cheese on it. I'm going to have that, and then also Chick-fil-A waffle fries. It doesn't have a size on there, so let me add the sandwich really fast, and then also search a size for that. Chick-fil-A medium fries. Bam. So track that. So again, now with the specific food still, I know I'm going to have, again, a lot of fat here. Again, this is why when we estimate out, like, again, 30 grams of fat was my estimate. That would have been even under my target number. You see my estimate, if I would have done this for not track Chick-fil-A 90 carb, pretty much perfect. My protein would be a little bit low, right? But again, you see my estimates here are probably even a little bit conservative. You could even be more aggressive on adding more of this to your meal eaten out if you want to estimate. But again, same exact thing. Now I realize, like, okay, I have to have a very low fat day, very high protein day around this to make it fit. So I do the same thing with my breakfast, lunch, and snacks, and just make sure that I'm making the appropriate adjustments now, knowing I'm going to have a very high fat, pretty high carbohydrate dinner. Okay, so hopefully this video was helpful. Again, you can do this for any of the 3 options, but the important thing is you're just being proactive. You're tracking this meal during the morning if it's like a dinner, or you can even track this meal. Obviously, if it's breakfast, you can track it right away. But again, make sure you're making the adjustments the rest of the day to make sure you're hitting your numbers. Okay, so that's it. I know a lot of people have questions on eating out, and again, it's one of the more difficult things with trying to eat a good diet, and especially if you're trying to lose some fat, it's very difficult to do. So this is one of the little tricks you can do to make sure you stay on track. So hopefully this is helpful, and that's it. Thanks, guys.